available to go back to. That's the whole point. So the way that I roll, let me just give you a backstory as to how I'm doing things from now on. So my home, as you know, is YouTube, right? So every single portal day, whether there's a portal or not, but most of the time there will be a live stream where I'll be holding ceremony on YouTube, right? You'll get notified for that. And then at the end of the month, because I will give each month a tone, next month, Ma'at is beautifully carrying us into what I deem as Ascension Ladder Month. And that is going to be working with the seven principles, the seven chakras, seven hermetic principles. You know, there's so many things that we can use. So that's going to be next month. So next month's class, AKA the temple, will be all about those mystery teachings. Well, they're not really mysterious anymore because we're bringing them forth into the world, right? We are remembering them. So that's kind of how it rolls. So there is absolutely, all of these classes are free. Okay. So eventually, once I get my duckies in a row, you'll be able to access the link through the website. But for now, everything's on YouTube. So that's how we're kind of rolling with this. So this is the purpose. The reason why I put the temple together is when I was recently in Avalon, I'd actually just been to Egypt on tour, came back, 5 minutes rest, went off to Avalon and kind of just did my thing. And the message was just bring the priestesses back to the temple. Look, the invitation is there for the priests, but they're a little bit slow coming to the circle, but they're always invited. But right now it's a priestess gig, and that's okay because the divine feminine always comes first, right? So this is what the temple is all about, for us to gather. And like, I know that money is obviously an issue for some of us, but it won't be for too long once we do sessions like this. And we're going to clear those abundance lines and everything like that. So there's like no excuse to not turn up at the temple and actually shine your light, meet your community, have somewhere you can gather and just be, right? Because we're all spread four corners of the earth, and it's time for us to come home. It's time for us to come home, and it's time for us to come home. All right. So now, I'm going to move into, and I know that so many of you here are already like masters in your own right, but I'm going to start from the beginning. Okay. So alchemy. Alchemy to me is intention plus action equals creation. All right. So that for me is like my Heka codes work. It's the god Sia plus Hugh is Heka. You know, there's so many different ways that we can cross-pollinate this over so many different cultures and understandings of where the power of three comes in. So we understand that because we're all multidimensional, right? But the world of Marie, that's kind of like how I roll. Okay. Even in the Avalonian teachings, there's something called the three cauldrons that I work with, which is the lower cauldron, middle cauldron, upper cauldron. Once again, there's ascension ladder, right? So now alchemy, obviously we know, is turning base metal into gold, is transforming one thing into something else. Emotions, you know, anything, creating a business, whatever, having a baby, everything that changes format or form, obviously, is alchemy. So we have forgotten how powerful we are as creators. We've forgotten our original essence, our origin source codes as alchemists. We're fast remembering it, but the thing is, we've done so much work individually on ourselves. We find ourselves here now. Why is it so important to come together? Because when we work together, that alchemy is way more powerful. I mean, take a moment to think, imagine, feel into what it was like when we were all together in the mystery schools. Yeah. When somebody fired up a bonfire, we grabbed our frame drums and then we just got to business, right? Like, tell me that doesn't give you a tingle, because that's just giving me truth bumps everywhere, because it's still there. It's still there. So it's about us bringing this forth, ancient wisdom for modern day living. Of course, we don't live in temples and pyramids anymore, but it's time for us to bring our light forth. That's why recently I've just done a video on the witchy wound, as I call it, because we need to face our shadow. Michelle knows what I'm talking about. We've been hashing that one out. And it is all of this stuff of the month of December is pulling up like really, really intense subconscious things that we didn't even know was there. So let it just come. No more holding on to it and picking it apart. Yeah, it's there. Moving on. Let's go. Hence why Ma'at now comes into the space, right? Because she has her 42 principles. She has her she has a 42 laws, 7 principles. Of course, we're not going to go through 42 laws. Otherwise, it really is going to be like school. And we're going to be here for like a week. You know what I mean? So let's kind of like go with the 7 principles of Ma'at, because we all love a number 7, right? So basically, you know, talking about alchemy, like, you know, why I decided to bring in the 2 upholders that I know so well, Sekhmet and Hathor. They are one of the same. Some people call them sisters, whatever. They're one of the same, right? So bringing Sekhmet into the space now. Now, Sekhmet, as we know, is the divine mother, or well, Lady of the Flame. She wants to be fed all the time. She gets grumpy and pissed off when we don't feed her. What does she want? What's her best food? Your shadow. Give it to her. Why are you being greedy? Why are you holding on? Just give it to her. That's what she wants. So she's always saying, feed it to me, and she'll take it into the belly of the goddess, right? Which is her. Okay, so now that is what we're going to be doing with Sekhmet today. She's going to use her fire to transmute the shadow, which sits in between you, embodying the principles of Ma'at, okay, to give you a clear line of sight. This is a formula that you will be able to revisit every single day, time and time again, reapply it. And that's the gift that keeps on giving. And that's why I love this kind of work, because we can do meditations that get like a bit like tired after a week or so and it loses its potency. How do we kind of like, turn up every day with a real good map and compass of a do this, X plus Y equals Z, away we go. So that's more of the divine masculine, and the divine feminine is the creation codes. The two have to come together. And that is what Ma'at is going to bring us through our upholders of Ma'at of Sekhmet and Hathor. So for me, obviously, Sekhmet is all about the fire, right? Of course she is. Now, Hathor, her counterpart, is obviously, she's all about the water. So we have the fire and the water, and then, of course, when we put fire and water together, we have steam, we have ether, you know what I mean? So it's like we just keep alchemizing and alchemizing. But in my experience, and the way I teach with these two powerful, powerful goddesses, is the fire will always come first. She will come in and just basically tear shit up. It's like it will be cleared, right? So your fire element will always come first. And then we need the soothing of the water. And then once we've gone into so you could see Sekhmet is more of the death, okay? She's the one that's going to take you through that death cycle time and time and time again, which is like what she does. And then once we've gone through the death, we're willingly wanting to go into the womb of the water, okay? And that's when Hathor lovingly takes us in, and we're in the amniotic fluids, and we're happy to go back to that dark space, because we always used to fear the dark. The boogeyman isn't real. We've now figured that out. So now we're like going into the womb. We're happy to sit in those amniotic fluids, be held, and rest. Because where true creation and manifestation comes from, and rebirth, is from rest and stillness, right? But we find it so difficult to get to that sweet spot. So that is where, and then once we come out of that, so we've gone death, rebirth with Hathor, guess what? Sekhmet will come in again, because a phoenix needs to rise from the ashes. So we just keep rolling through the death, rebirth, resurrection. Death, rebirth, resurrection. You know what I mean? So that's just the way, that's the gospel of Marie, and that's just the way I see it. So maybe it resonates, whatever. You might be having a ping moment where you're like, actually, that matches up with that other stuff, whatever. Throw it in the cauldron, mix it up, because it's all one at the end of the day. So that's the way I see how Sekhmet and Hathor work. Now, bringing Ma'at in, so she has like 7 principles, you know what I mean? It's like we know who she is. She's a goddess that didn't take physical form. She's the goddess. She has these. Well, in fact, she's right here, actually, around my neck. She is the goddess that has these wings, like Hathor. Sorry, like Hathor, like Isis. But the difference is, as we know, this is where everybody gets it confused. Obviously, Isis has the throne on the head, and then you have Ma'at, which has the feather, right? So that's the difference. But other than that, they look exactly the same, right? So I just want to pull my curtains across, because I know I look like the chosen one right now. This is amazing. Ra's just shining on me, and I'm like, I know, sun gods and all that. What happened? Hang on a second, because I'm very hot and my forehead is sweating. Hang on. We are just changing seasons here in Africa. And it's gone from a horrific winter to all of a sudden sunshine. Anyway, coming back to what I was saying after my like sovereign moment. Okay, so now, so where was I? So Ma'at. Okay, so Ma'at is the one that takes on the justice. She brings everything into balance, law and order, and all the rest of it. So of course, Sekhmet and Hathor, they were on the Gaia plane, so they were able to uphold that. So I won't go too much into the mythology, because we've got a lot of work that I want to dive into to do with the 7 principles, because we all know the goddesses, right? So now with Ma'at, she is basically a force to be reckoned with, as we know. I'm going to briefly talk about the mythology, which we know, the weighing of the heart. Okay, so the weighing of the heart is like, have you lived a good life? Yeah. Have you been a good person? Basically, the Egyptians just want to know, did you live by joy, and did you bring others joy? And if that's a fat no, you're pretty screwed, because then you're going to go to the underworld and not in a good way, right? So that's kind of like how we equate that right there. So the pharaohs had to live by Ma'at. That was the deal. You know what I mean? And a lot of them did, and a lot of them didn't. But either way, they had such a powerful belief in Ma'at. She was the one that brought order out of chaos, right? So, you know, this is what we need to bring back in our own way. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to go in and meet. We're going to meet Sekhmet and Hathor and Ma'at. So we're just going to bring them into the circle in a short journey, right? The way this is going to roll is we're going to come out of that, and then we're going to go through the 7 principles, which would be the kind of like theory work, if you like. I'm going to really start to unpack it. And then we're going to kind of like be drifting in and out of journeys and work. And then at the end, you've got homework, because you're going to be doing a burning ceremony, right? You're going to be doing a burning ceremony. If not today, has to be in the next 24 hours with what we're going to do. So we really are going to get our priestess, witchy, whatever on. Do you know what I mean? And priest, because I know that my friend Josh is here, and I'm so sorry. Josh is a man. Hi, Josh. He's like the only one here properly, but it's okay. So yeah, so we're going to go in to meet the goddesses, and we just, you know, you can leave camera on, you can go and lie down, whatever, just receive. Okay. So we're going to go and bring them into the space now. All right. So when you are ready, get yourself comfortable. Okay. Okay. Let's do this here. So getting yourself comfortable now. And as we did, we just take some nice deep breaths. So we're going to inhale and just coming into that space and really bringing yourself back to that space that we just were briefly in, going right back into your stillness. You may feel a little bit of what feels like anxiety, or just my heart is thumping, because I know all 3 of these goddesses are here. And all 3 of those goddesses live through each and every one of you. It's why you're here. It's why you're on this call. It's why when you saw the feather of Ma'at pop up, you were like, I'm there. So each and every one of us have signed up, vowed for a duty that we would be the bringers of truth, the upholders of Ma'at. So start to breathe nice and slow now, in through the nose and out through the nose. And as you breathe in, feel your belly rise and your chest rise, and take a small pause at the top. And as you exhale, just feel all the energy fall away. And I want you to stay with that slow, steady breath now. Allow the breath to rise and fall, but also taking a moment to be hyper aware that that breath that you breathe is your divinity. It's your power, your life force. Breathing in and breathing out. And on that last breath, you feel a shift of consciousness. And you now move into a completely different space. You feel your heart space opening, because this is your portal for travel. And every inhale and exhale now takes you deeply within that place. So as you breathe into the heart, you feel your lotus petals opening one by one by one. Inhale. And as you exhale, you let go of your physical life. And you go deeply into your own inner universe. And as you take a breath or two now, you start to deepen this feeling, this connection of just such safety, oneness. Because inside your inner cosmos, everything that you need, everything that you are, it's there. I am that I am. And you feel yourself gently being pulled now, as if a strong current is taking you in a direction, and you worry not. For you know that you are journeying, and you know that you are going to somewhere very, very important. So allow yourself to be held. by your inner cosmos. And you drift off now, and the speed picks up a little, and you start to just travel, journey, travel, like the speed of light shooting down a tunnel now. For you're multidimensional, this is what it feels like. And you worry not. You let go, and you allow yourself to arrive. Suddenly you're standing there, looking down at your feet. As you look down at your feet, you're wearing some beautiful sandals made of rope and twine. You can see that you may be wearing beads or something around your ankles. As you start to take notice of the rest of your body, you're wearing ceremonial clothes, soft linens. You take a note of the beautiful golden rope around your waist. Sewn into this golden rope waistband, so many beautiful crystals, turquoise, andaras, lapis lazuli. You look at your skin is different to what you know it. You're wearing jewelry, and you can smell your own skin anointing oil all over you. You look up at the night sky, for it is a nighttime, and these stars are just dancing and twinkling down to you. And you kind of twinkle back to them, because in this timeline, you're not sad that you're here on a physical plane. There is no separation. And that is quite a powerful feeling that comes over you now, that there is no separation. You're a beautiful reflection of that Milky Way that you look up to now. And they twinkle and wink down at you. There is a sense of judicial urgency. And you know that you are on some task mission. So you do not stand here for much longer, and you continue to just walk along this path that you've arrived upon. And as you walk, you are following this path all the way down in this desert-like scenario. And there's these long, like sticks, lanterns. They're very tall, and they're fire lanterns that are kind of guiding your way. It looks rather beautiful against the night. And you follow this path, for you know that there's a summoning that has happened here. And as you start to allow your eyes to adjust, you become aware of a massive building in front of you. But it's not a building, it's a temple. And you didn't realize how big it was because you thought it was the night sky. It's actually not. It's all temple. And it's a huge judicial kind of looking place. It doesn't make you scared. It just you know you're important business. So it makes you just stiffen your shoulders, puff your chest out, and take a few deep breaths. You continue your walk now, and you feel your heart starting to thump in your chest. Energy starts to tingle all over your being as you approach this powerful temple. And as you stand before the doorway, there is a waft of memory. You've been here before. You know this place. And then suddenly the doors open, and you are welcomed in with some very, very staunch guards. And one of them looks more like a keeper of the temple, walks up to you, and they place this huge necklace around your shoulders. It's very heavy. It's full of lots of crystals, and it's almost like it's being placed upon you because this is what you wear when you come here. And it gives you a sense of authority. And as you step in, you look around at the hieroglyphs and all of the magical paintings. You are in the home of Ma'at. Straight away, you just bow your head, for there is a grounding presence here in this place. Without a moment to rest, you are now led down a long corridor, and you follow. You stand before these massive doors, and you now know that this is it. This is where you're going to meet someone very, very powerful, and you've got a pretty good idea who. Suddenly the doors are opened, double doors, huge they are. And you step into this beautiful hall. There are massive, like golden bowls of fire everywhere. There are plants and fruits. It's like, it's quite magical in here. And as you walk forward, you gasp and you bow your head. For there before you, sitting on her throne, is indeed Ma'at. Straight away you bow, you come to your knees, placing both hands on the floor, bowing your head. You are very well aware that there are two beings that are stood behind her. One hand on Ma'at's shoulder, the other being with their hand on Ma'at's shoulder, like her keepers. These beings are Sekhmet and Hathor. You keep your eyes bowed low. For not yet you are fearful, that you are deeply respectful and humble of this twin flame shrine that you have come before now. You wait to be instructed to stand. Sekhmet calls your name. Stand before us, dear one. You move forward. In your hands, you realize that you are holding fruits, honeys, sweetbreads, a basket full of all sorts of beautiful things. This is your offering. You stand there clutching this basket. Hathor says, "Sweet one, speak." You breathe in and you breathe out, and you address Ma'at, who says nothing. Dear mother, powerful goddess, Hathor, mother of fertility and creation, Sekhmet, lady of the flame, O powerful one. I am emotion flowing within me now, for I am feeling so grateful that I have been granted this audience with you. You state why you've come. I am an upholder of Ma'at, and I call for your blessings today. For in the lifetime that I live, I need to walk with fortitude. I need to walk in the name of Ma'at. I speak the words of Hathor and the words of Sekhmet, so I can guide others to do the same. I am humbly here in honor for you to grant me your wisdom, for you to grant me any healing, any guidance that I need, so I can be in my highest integrity, being an upholder of Ma'at. And you bow your head, straight away you slide your offering along the floor and you step back. Sekhmet steps forward and she smiles. She takes your hand and she places in your hand a citrine crystal. She holds your hand and she says, "My love, this is representative of abundance, but it is my fire in that stone, and it is your fire that is also in that stone. Remember it often, for you are the fire of my heart." And she steps back. You are overcome with emotion and just so honored. And then Hathor steps forward, a very different energy. Hathor walks forward. You can smell the blue lotus on her skin. Straight away, your heart just opens and melts. She also takes your other hand and she looks deeply into your eyes with that blue, blue eyes. And she looks at you and she says, "Sweet one, take this flower." She places the lotus in your hands and it vibrates in your fingers, and straight away you feel your sacral chakra open and your heart pop. She smiles and she laughs and she looks deeply into your eyes and she said, "You will need this. You will need this for you to understand the ebbs and flows, that one must go into the dark depths of the mud to then rise again to the sun. Always remember, dance with the ebbs and flows." And she steps back. And now Ma'at, who has not moved out of her throne, she stands before you now. She walks towards you. And she looks deeply into your eyes, but it's down her nose. She's very judicial, very judicial. And the energy is very different. And you're a little bit intimidated. However, you're here for it. And she places her hands on your shoulders. She says to walk in thy name takes honesty, truth, justice. One must be harmonious in their being. Balance and order must be embodied. First, you need to walk your talk. And I will show you how. And with that, she wraps her wings around you. Quite unexpected, for you did not expect this, that she is all love. She is all love. And as she wraps her wings around you, your chakras, every single one of them, come online like Christmas tree lights. You are just boosting and just shining so much light. And she whispers in your ear, this is the first gift I give you to balance your being, your physical vessel. We understand how hard it is to be in physical form, like being incarnate. So open your heart, sweet one, and receive this balancing of your whole being now. And you just nuzzle into her wings, and her wings wrap around you even more tightly now. And you're very well aware as she does this and brings the frequency of the cosmos through her, her feather of Ma'at in the side of her headdress starts to shake and shimmer. Beautiful gold, and you can see the light codes coming through it. And those light codes are coming through Ma'at to you. Receive, sweet ones, receive. Open, open, open your hearts. And breathe, 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 breathe. And you now sense and feel the energy, the transmission. Her wings start to relax. You notice Sekhmet and Hathor step back now. And there you are, a shimmering delight of light, balance, love. And Ma'at says, for where you are about to go, this was your first initiation. And dear initiate, you have passed the first level. She sits back down in her throne, and as quick as you were brought here, it is done. The scene starts to disappear. You find yourself now just letting go of this whole scenario, because this is a timeline that you possess all the time. Just know that you can go back here anytime you like. And you feel yourself now float back into your inner cosmos. So I want you to take some breaths there now, just to get used to your own inner being, your own inner world. And then start to take some breaths into the physical body, into the room, into the chair, where you are right now. And when you are ready, focusing on your Earth Star chakra or your root chakra, or holding your crystal just to bring you in for a little bit of grounding, going back to the roots maybe of the beginning meditation, bringing yourself back to this space. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Well, that was strong. Phew. It's all you lot as well. It's not just me. It's like this collective. I was, okay, it's strong. Yeah. Okay, I'm not the only one that was crying then. Okay, that's good, because I was just trying to, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you received that. Well, look, this was my intention coming together at the temple when we combine and work together with our energies like this. I'm so glad. I'm just so glad. Yeah, this is how it is. Sorry, I'm reading all the messages come up now. So that was us, guys, meaning a little bit of like self-worth here. You know what I mean? That is who we truly are. Because that I could feel that energy and power in my heart. And like I say, that was the collective. So the doors are open. We passed our first initiation. We've now been granted. We're not quite upholders of Ma'at yet, but we've been given the green light. Would have been quite a short Zoom call if she said, sorry, no, come back next week. Oh, thank God. Okay, so now, all right. So now I'm going to move us into the 7 principles. All right. And this is where you might look. I really want to sort of stay present. You're going to have to do a little bit of writing here because it's a little bit of a practical exercise. Okay. Because this is what you're going to be burning in your fire ceremony. Okay. So, but I want you to be as present as possible. So that stuff that you can watch on the replay, do that. You know what I mean? So the 7 principles, I'm going to just list them. All right. What they actually are. So there's truth, justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, and propriety. So we also know Ma'at as, cosmic truth, law, order, balance. I also say reconciliation. That's not what she's known for. But for me, I always find her as an accountant. And the way that Ma'at works with me, if I try and like submit a book into the Akashic records, because I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like her and Toth go, throw it back. No, you're not. You haven't finished it. There's an assignment missing at the back. And I'm like, shit. Okay. All right. I do try and skiff some books through, do you know what I mean? But they do get sent back to me. So what I'm talking about is there is, it's all about balancing the books, isn't it? Balancing your karma, balancing the scales of Ma'at, right? So we know her to be that. But these principles, and we're going to go through them one by one, is what I've just shared with you. Okay. So we are talking about truth. So let's start there. Now, this is just a sidebar thing that I love working with Ma'at. I would like us to just, when we do our meditation, it's a great way to channel as well. Imagine your cosmic feather of Ma'at on the side of your headdress when you're in meditations. And, you're going to if you want to bring in any kind of cosmic truth, I am telling you now, it is so powerful. When you breathe her in and the feather starts to tremble, I do it to actually channel. And you might not get the here and now message, but let me tell you, it gets blocked, it gets dropped into your consciousness, and it will come out later on down the line. I'm telling you now, so work with that cosmic feather of truth, cosmic truth, because it ripples and it shakes. And when she starts to channel, like she did in our meeting, she brings through so many different things. So, if you want to speak to your star beings, or you're trying to connect with a certain Egyptian energy, she happy for you to use that feather. So go into that. It's like an antennae. That's what it is. It's a receiver and transmitter, right? So use your principle of Ma'at, your feather of Ma'at. But also as well, we got to remember she's the one. Over this month, we've been going through a lot of shadow, right? So expect Ma'at to show you the truth in people, places, and situations. People who you thought that they were are not. Situations that you thought that they were are not. Now that can go either way. You can actually think that, oh, this was great for me. This is lovely and amazing. Yeah, this worked for me. And then all of a sudden you wake up the next day and you're like, oh shit, this is not it at all. Do you know what I mean? And it's like all of a sudden the great reveal. It's like, you know what I mean? It's a bit like going out and getting drunk and kind of like hooking up with someone and waking up the next day and going, actually, you're really ugly. I'm sorry, that's the worst scenario, but you know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden, like you take the goggles off and you see the truth of what it is. Do you know what I mean? There's no longer being drunk. Do you know what I mean? Even though like Sekhmet loves a beer or two. But you get what I'm saying, right? That it's basically the truth is going to be revealed. So actually working with Ma'at and that feather of truth was actually going to wipe all the sleep out your eyes so you can see the authenticity and the truth in everything, right? So truth, we are now, this is a brief description. I mean, I know we know what truth means, but here I've written truth. We are all sacred. We are all divine. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, and I'm going to explain to you how we're going to work with this. So of course we would love to say, yeah, I'm all of those 7 principles. Yeah, I'm living my Ma'at. Yeah, I'm living in that. But that's why we're here, because we're kind of not. And we need to actually embody the 7 principles of Ma'at like a rudder, like a guiding light. Like she's a lighthouse. And now bringing it through in this structured way, I would hope that it might help you, us, whatever, to actually embody her teachings more easily. So truth, we are all sacred and we are all divine. We're all source. So let's keep it real. We don't always feel that because we're having a human experience right now. No shade, no judgment. You know what I mean? We are human. I mean, if we sit together and we're all having like a little temple gathering, we know the deal. We've got the memo, but do we really feel that in our hearts that we are truly part of source? No, that's where all the problems come in. So that's where we're working for now. We want to like really step into our authenticity and our truth. And our authenticity and our truth is not waking up tomorrow thinking that you're a reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. Do you know what I mean? Because that's like actually impossible. But it's just like the truth is actually being real with yourself, kind of like saying, well, you know what? There are ebbs and flows. That's where the Hermetic principles come from. We're living a human experience. We can't be on all the time. Some days are shit. Some days are amazing. Some days are just whatever. Can you stay in that peace state in your truth and authenticity? Know when to duck, know when to hide, know when to play dead, and know when to run, and know when to take action. That's what authenticity is staying with all of these frequencies and moving with it and becoming part of it, but staying true to your ma'at, right? So it's so with this misconception that everything should be amazing and lovely and like, oh, whatever, that's being on all the time. That's actually impossible because then you burn out. And I know that I went through that for a very long time with this idea that like, everything should be like a portal day every day. And if I'm not feeling like that, then I'm doing it wrong. Now, that's obviously a non-truth. So I've had to get real with me and just go, oh no, like all of a sudden, and I went through a day feeling really sad because I was like, oh, why can't there be magic every day? But there is magic. It's finding the magic in the distortion. But my belief system was like, it's got to be magic every day. And that's like unrealistic, isn't it? You know what I mean? So it's like, do you see what I'm saying? So that's where truth can show up in a multitude of ways. So if we don't feel the truth, we are all sacred, what could be coming up for you? So this is where you're going to get your pen to paper. And I know I can write a list, honey, don't worry about it, but I just want one thing, okay? That basically this is your jump off, because you're going to work more and more and more with this. So for example, your negative belief that doesn't support that could be that you're not one, that you don't believe that you are worthy of being spirit or source. You're not worthy to stand before Ma'at. You're not worthy to be an upholder of Ma'at. So what are we talking about here? What's needed? Forgiveness, right? I mean, look, at the end of the day, Spirit always says to me, you know what? I'm like, oh, I need to forgive myself. And my team have just said, if you want, if you like, but you were never not divine. Like, do you, boo? But like, we'll see you in 5 minutes. Go and forgive yourself. We'll see you back at the temple. Like, fine. Do you know what I mean? So I go off and I do, but that's the human aspect of it. But that's okay. So I want you to write true. You've got truth. We are all sacred. We are all divine. Now, where do you feel? What's the strongest shadow or the strongest like pebble in the shoe where you may not believe that? Might be a person, might be a situation, could actually be a negative belief. So there's no wrong answers here. Okay. So first thing that comes into your head, write that down. And you can just give me a heart and a thumbs up, like, like that you're kind of like all, good with that. Because if it was me, if I'm actually doing this, I'd be writing a whole novel right now. Okay. So like I say, this needs to, remember, we don't need to go into the drama of it. Just one thing that kind of shows you the shadow of the principle. That's what I'm trying to get to here, right? Oh, look, you got hearts. Oh, love that. I want balloons. I try to get the balloon thing happening. It never works for me. Right. Okay, so the next one, justice. Okay. So justice means, in Ma'at's world, entitled to love, joy, abundance, food, and shelter. Okay. So it also means, in your words, you may write it or follow these, fully and meaningfully contributing to society through our gifts. Okay. So here's the thing, when we say justice, oh, we need to have justice, meaning that person's being absolute awful and something needs to be done about that justice should be taken. But this isn't what justice actually really means. Justice is about, when we say, oh, I've actually written here, balancing the scales of justice. It means that everybody is equal and entitled to the same amount of love, food, support. We're all even the four-leggeds, everything. Do you know what I mean? We all deserve exactly the same amount of everything. We all deserve it, right? That is what justice is, and that is why we say justice, balance the scales of justice, right? Now, what really pops out to me here is like entitled to love, joy, abundance, food, shelter. Yet we get that, right? But the bit that pops out here, fully and meaningfully contributing to society through our gifts. That's where it gets a bit sticky, doesn't it? Because we're all a little bit like, oh, you know what I mean? And even if we are kind of sharing our gifts, are we doing it fully though? I see you because I see me. Do you know what I mean? It's like I would say to myself, damn, if I knew that I couldn't fail, do you know what I mean? Or if I thought that I was enough, well, how differently would I be living my life today? What else would I put out there? Oh my God, I would be doing retreats deluxe. I'd be like, at the moment, I'm just doing one big toe in the water. And what do? We say, yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that. And then the head goes, oh no, you can't because of da, 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 da. Oh, no one will come. Who are you to do that? What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? So this is a real good gauge to say, well, what would I be doing if I knew all of these things, my truth and justice? If I knew that I was enough, well, how would I be showing up, right? So, for example, I want you to get ready with your negative shadow point that would be the opposite to this, right? So I've written here, just to give you an idea, okay, your negative belief, or your faulty core belief, or whatever you want to call it, is not worthy to share my gifts. Okay, so it's like, who am I to do that? Now we go back to the witchy wound. After this, you can go and watch my video on YouTube, short video about like the witchy wound. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody's like talking about it. It's like, yeah, I can see John. Yeah, we're all there. So I mean, like, think about it. Like last time, like we're in this pinnacle point, balloon pop moment of September. We're about to step out because it's the year of transformation. So we're all like, whoa, shit, this is really happening. So now all of a sudden we're confused as to why there's a whole lot of stuff coming up, lastminute.com, right? Because that is indicative that we are about to pop onto the scene in a different way. And that is why it's intense, because they're like, oh, you forgot this. Oh, you forgot that. You forgot this. You've got to sign off on this. That's why it's going on, right? So the witchy wound is a big one, because the last time you either witnessed someone get put on the stake because they were all spiritual and powerful, or you were the one that was chucked on the fire. You know what I mean? We've all been around it, men, women, and all the rest of it. And that can take us into the depths of we should not be charging money for our sharing our gifts. Maybe just don't share your gifts at all. Fear of other women, toxic femininity, and all that kind of stuff is a big thing. It's right. There's a lot of pain. We all took each other out. Do you know what I mean? For whatever reason. And that goes all the way back to Egypt. But there's so many moving factors to this wounding. Don't really need to get into it. Just need awareness on it to just say, well, that would explain as to why I don't want to go out there and share my gifts. So that goes back to the justice. You deserve to be a fully expressive, unapologetically you is what I'm trying to say. So are you being unapologetically you? And if you're not, why would that be? You know what I mean? And then you start to go, oh, hey, you get an idea of whether you are 60% downloaded, 40% downloaded. And it's not to get sad about this. It's just to say, oh, there's room. I need to let something go. And I'm going to use myself as a teaching point. Me and Sekhmet kind of got into it yesterday. And I went through a massive journey with her. And she basically sucked what I thought was my life force, but she was sucking all of this. It was quite intimate, actually. She was sucking all of this darkness out. And I was like, I don't know whether this is okay. Do you know what I mean? It's like taking our relationship to the next level. I mean, wow. But I felt it all pull out from around my heart. And what she was doing is she was pulling out all this stuff. And then she said to me, you are working so hard to have this happen, that happen, that happen. The buffet table is there full of food, but you will not take your hands out your pockets, right? So the only thing here is just one thing. Get rid of your fear, because it's not real. Do you know what I mean? You've died a million times. So much shit's happened to you in this life. What are you actually scared of? And I was like, that's actually quite true. Do you know what I mean? I feared getting taken out by other women. That's happened. I feared of getting accused of being a witch by a big group. That happened. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whatever. And I'm just like, what am I fearing? It's because it's all just noise. So the very thing that you tire yourself trying to create with all the time, you've already got it. It's just that one thing we got to get rid of, which is just the fear of being unapologetically you. So all of a sudden it's like super simple, right? So what comes up for you when I speak about that, going out there and sharing yourself full on, full out, how you want to? Is it money? that makes you kind of like pull back. That's a big thing. That's why I made the temple, completely took the money off. In fact, Ma'at told me to take the money off. And then Sekhmet started talking to me about gift economy. She said that's coming down the line. I don't know when, but like I just thought, oh, interesting. Because now there's no pressure. I was thinking, God, as soon as I think of an offering, I've got, how do we price that out? And then it starts to basically curb what I'm offering. I was like, this is rubbish. And then, of course, if people don't have the money or whatever, like, is it worth that? All of a sudden, we put something in our cauldron there, which is unpreferred. Take the money out of it. And then we have just got frequency. Here we all are, communing together, sharing our light with each other, which is justice. We're doing it here, right? Woo! We are doing it here, right? So what's the problem? We need to expand into that and do that more. I know we got to charge because we need to eat or whatever, but this is just a little example of what gets in your way of sharing your light, right? So writing down what your shadow is to that, to justice. Okay. So now the next one is harmony. Alignment with nature and each other. Being your true self also makes you go a bit, really? Being your true self, okay? Authenticity, that's authenticity and harmony, right? Being your true self. So when we sit there and say, oh, they're so inauthentic, straight away our mind goes judgy, right? And we go, oh, they're not doing it properly or whatever. Inauthenticity is just exactly what I spoke about, basically hiding your light because you're scared you're going to die. So we basically don't go out there enough and share our light with others, or we do it too much and we become spiritual bullies and we're flexing hard to do exactly the same thing that the small person's doing to the bully's doing to protect your marshmallow squashy point. You know what I mean? That's what I call your bit inside that you don't want anybody to touch. So you know what I mean? It's like authenticity comes in many, many different ways, but that's not harmonious. This comes back to balance. So harmony, alignment with nature and each other. So as we know, the tree magic and all that kind of stuff, we can go out there and we can look at the rivers that run and everything like that. We get it, right? So first of all, this could be quite simple. You need to get out in nature more. Or if you're not in that environment, get a plant. Do you know what I mean? Sit by it, meditate it. I mean, honestly, there's ways and means. Get a cactus if you don't have water. Just do something. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, but you see what I'm saying? Intention is everything, right? Intention is everything. So harmony. So we know for us to basically manifest and basically bring in everything that we need and for us to walk effortlessly through this life, our vibrational match is got to be that with the universe or the multiverse, because that's harmony and we're harmony. Once we have that vibrational match, then we're like open to receive. But it's not the actual fact that we don't ask for things. It's whether we can receive. It's that whole heart thing again. You know what I mean? So the issue here for me is our hearts aren't wide enough. If you try start putting like so much abundance through a hole that big, it's not going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like so we have to focus on opening up. But why did we close in the first place? Because we didn't think we were worthy. So you know what I mean? So this is a self-worth thing. You deserve this. And when you go back to these principles and you check yourself every day, there's only 7 of them. Maybe do 1 a day. That could be quite cool, actually. Do you know what I mean? Doing a principle every day. It's going to keep you in check. It's this here that my art's going to bring forth. It's going to make sure, instead of just going, that was a cool masterclass, off I go and like went to Egypt. That was great. What am I doing tomorrow? Every day, if you check in with my art, because she will kick your ass, and Sekhmet's heard us all today. She's going to come in and she's going to tell you something. You know what I mean? And like, and Hathor's just going to be going tut, tut, tut. And it's like, this is the thing, we got to be held accountable, and Ma'at's going to take us there, because we're always showers, and we got a big purpose here. It's going to be a stampede of people coming that are going to be so like, what is going on in the world? We got to be ready. This is why this September month is like it is, right? So harmony. So write down what is not in alignment with that. I've written here, negative belief, I am not enough. And then I've said fear of persecution. So if you go into like, being your true authentic self. Oh my God, if I'm my true authentic self, I did that last time I was like in the woods healing everybody, and I got a steak shoved up my ass and I was just like a chicken skewer. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm doing that again. Do you know what I mean? So we got to go and revisit these places and actually be real about it is to and go, okay, that's fine. But then we transmute it, which is what Sekhmet's going to help us with today. But it's fear of persecution. Do you worry that people are going to judge you? Do you worry about like anything from the external that could actually be, being your true self? Like, what does that bring? Basically, what does that bring up for you? Like, and I'm talking about true self. I'm not talking about the version you are now. I'm talking about all out. Like all out. Let me tell you, there's a whole lot more. I mean, I'm moving with the group here. There's a whole lot more that needs to come out here. Trust me, there is. My husband would say, oh my God, please no. But like, there is. Okay, so now balance is the next one. So it's very, very difficult to live in balance right now when we are living on a world or in a world that is just so extreme. Okay, so balance is existing in a place where opposites meet. The Hermetic principle of polarity. Polarities have been up front and center, and I've been channeling some pairs, which I'm going to share with you in a bit, and I will also post on YouTube because they're really, really powerful. And it's all about polarities. Now, it's being and if you don't have a center and you're not in your ma'at, then we've got no hope, which is why this is so important. So the polarities exist in a place where opposite meets, like that's quite difficult because the energy in the world is so extreme. So let's just chuck that into the eclipse season. Like, how easy is it to get, like, bloody hell, how easy is it to get like balance in that? You know what I mean? But that's where we become masters. That's where we've got to go, okay, and we've got to be more compassionate towards ourselves. Forgiving came in earlier, because for us to be able to maintain ma'at within us, it's going to take all of these things. Address your forgiveness. I'm not enough. We need to look at that. You know what I mean? I'm more than enough. These are all the things, the shadows that keeps you off kilter. So if you get taken out, like by the full moons and everything like that, what's the first thing you do? We go a little bit into victim mode. We do. Because why can't we just lie down and go, oh, well, another, like, another nosebleed, it's okay because tomorrow will be different. I sit there and if you message me on those times, you'll get a 10-minute podcast on voice notes of like what's been happening to me. And I got told off, and they said, you've got to stop talking like that. You know what I mean? Nobody needs to know. You're fine. You're just working with the frequencies. So be really mindful of kind of like, what you're spewing out there. What are you allowing to spew out your cauldron? Contain it. And this is what Sekhmet shared with me. Very, very powerful over eclipse. Think of everything as a cauldron. This has really helped me ever such a lot. So your cauldron is always in a state of chaos, because that's truth. It's Ceridwen, for those that know her from Avalon. She works with a cauldron. She's a witch. So basically, but she's also a goddess as well. But she has a cauldron, and it is always in a state of chaos until she wears her little finger in it and brings a spiral to the mixture within the cauldron. And when she does that, she brings order to the chaos, and then manifestation appears, right? So we are the chaos, because that's divine feminine. But when we start to action things and bring intention and contain the energy, then we produce something. This is alchemy, which is solid. But when we're like, oh my God, and all your contents in your cauldron are spilling everywhere, it's just a little bit messy, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? Cooking with a 5-year-old in the kitchen. Do you know what I mean? It's all over the place. So think about that. It's like, like she said to me, contain it. Because that eclipse, I was like, oh my God, I'm so sick. And she was like, no, stop. You're not sick. It's energy. It's lower vibrational energy, which doesn't feel great, but be the master. Harness it. Be the vessel, be the container, take control over it, your inner authority. So that was a real like, wow, okay. And then basically, change it into something else when the time is right. And you know what? Sometimes it might just be in that balance mode that you just got to be in the chaos, in the cauldron. Can you hold your center? You know what I mean? Because polarities, this is the thing. Okay. So what we're saying is dance with the ebbs and flows, remove yourself from extreme highs and lows. Dance with the ebbs and flows, let go of the extreme highs and lows, because extreme highs and lows is not ma'at. Dance with the ebbs and flows is harmonious. Big difference, right? So it's like these little things. So with your balance, opposites meets and all those things going on, negative belief systems. And this is what I've written as an example. When you are kind of like all over the place, you try and regain control by going out there and doing more. Yeah. all of this is all over the place. So this is horrible. So let me just try and control it out there. And then you click into divine masculine in the shadow, and then you just can't get out of it, right? So if you can be in here and you can harness that cauldron medicine that I just shared with you, right? Then you can do it, but you can't do it if you don't feel safe inside. You know, it's the last place you're going to want to come in here. I'm not going inside. It's way too still. It's like shitloads of stuff I don't want to look at in there. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, like, hey, trust me, this is all my own teachings of what I've actually been through. I told you it's the gospel of Marie. What can I tell you? You know, but that's the truth, right? So now all of a sudden it becomes quite simple. So when you're doing and putting out fires out there to try and stabilize what is so chaotic, it's the inside that needs to be stabilized. So we have to address what's going on inside of you. So if you're not feeling safe within, then go have a chat to your inner child. What's going on, man? What are we doing here? And just, instead of externally self-soothing, come in, have a conversation, just be, right? Just be. So that's balance. So you write your shadow down to do with that. And then moving into order. Energy loves order. Okay, it's a marriage. You know what I mean? We talk about the chaos and the finger swirl that was bringing order to the chaos, and manifestation happened. So we have been conditioned that chaos is a bad thing. Oh my God, it's chaos. Run for the hills, put a saucepan on your head and hide. Do you know what I mean? And it's like basically chaos. We've been told it's just but in our world, chaos is the divine feminine, and it's what we manifest from. So we need to harness that and go, yeah, this is good. Chaos is good, right? So there might be fear attached to that through this life upbringing. You don't realize what you've been drip fed, but chaos is good, right? So we need to have order, okay, for us to be able to manifest. So you know what I mean? It's like the divine feminine has to land. She's all the creation codes. In a way, she is chaotic until she kind of comes into the divine masculine. So those two worlds have got to come together. That's where Hathor walks over to Sekhmet and says, hey, come and sit in my pool of like blue lotuses. Let's just chill out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, that's why she comes in soothing afterwards, because it's just like the two go together. Beautiful marriage. And then between Hathor and Sekhmet, there's this beautiful balance. And Ma'at is very happy, right? Because the two like are working together. And then balance is even like that holy twin flame trine, right? You know what I mean? It's and you can actually use this twin flame trine with other goddesses you work with. I've got my three on my altar here. I have Hathor, Sekhmet, and Isis. So those are my trines. So you can put those at any points to create this order however you want. Play with it. You know what I mean? This is what being an alchemist is all about, creating formulas that work, you know, with energy, right? So with order, your negative
Hi, I love
could
you.
possibly be chaos makes you think you're busy. You've got to get busy. That's what chaos does. It's not a calming energy. So without thinking, we go straight into the doing. But instead, can we flip mode that and go, oh, chaos is here. What does she want me to do with her? What does Ma'at want me to do with her? Right? What are we going to do with it? Or do I need to create something with this? This is an opportunity, right? It's an opportunity. So if that chaos is going in and you're all just like all over the place, your heart is closed and your head leads. Heart closed, head leads. If you are going into this rhythm, this habit, behavior of right, chaos comes in, do. That means your head's gone right. Let's make a plan and make us safe. Your heart's closed. Divine feminine's gone right. She's wrapping her nails, going, well, whatever, they'll come back. You know what I mean? It's like it's imbalanced. Okay. So that's how I look at order, right? So where in your life do you struggle to have order? It could just be, I mean, I think it's very common with all of us that it's a doing thing. All right. Yeah. So remember, sacred order is very different, isn't it? You know, when you want to get orderly, maybe when you want to go and do something, sit with the seven principles, go into meditation, go through this again. It's going to help you come back in here. So we want to address sacred order instead of order out there. You know, it's like sacred order versus that. That's busy. This is actually quite calming. Yeah. So, and then we have two more to go. We get to the end of this just now. I always struggle with saying this word. It's hysterical. I had to practice it came on here. Reciprocity. I hope I said that right. It's like something out of Sesame Street earlier. I was like, reciprocity. Okay, so reciprocity. What goes around comes around. Whoa, I like this one. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow. I don't know whether you're going to the dark side or the light side with this. I mean, who are you thinking of? Do you know what I mean? Rhythm, ebbs, flows. This is where those extreme highs and lows come in. Do you know what I mean? It really compounds that. So, what goes around comes around. So basically, the shadow for this, for me, negative manifesting, unconscious manifestation. There is no question that each and every one of us manifest in every single moment, but are you manifesting what you want? The whole world is a perfect example of like unconscious manifestation. So it's not like, oh God, have you forsaken me? No, he gave you everything you thought about. We want to be consciously manifesting now, right? So what goes around comes around. So what is your contribution right now? What are you putting out there in the world? I want you to write down one thing or two things. Is it worry? Is it like, oh, I really want to put that workshop out, but I'm just not enough? Is it like, oh God, like, I'm not lovable? What is it? What is it? What is your overdeveloped conversation, negative chatter that goes on all the time? We need to really nail this one, Because remember what your contribution is. So your negative belief system, like I say, it could be negative manifesting. And what are we saying? We're in victim mode. Victim consciousness. It's real black and white. Are we victim consciousness, or do we believe that we are truth? Okay. So these principles will bounce around. They'll send you in all different ways. You might find on a day you could use this like an oracle deck and go, right, okay, finger down the page. What am I going on? What's going on for me today, Matt? And she'll say harmony and truth. Oh, okay. Well, let me put those two together. So play with this. Toth always says this. He's the king of formulas because he's the king of alchemy. You know what I mean? So play with this and you will come into a power that you never knew that you had. And it's actually been at your fingertips all the time, just knowing that you can play with these different things. It's not all about just channeling and breath work and, do you know what I mean? And all of those things. It's actually about ma'at, getting very, very practical and embodied in this life as a starseed incarnate, right? We have to put this into play, right? So what are your negative beliefs that are like kind of, or what's the chatter that's going on with reciprocity? So now, propriety. Do no harm to others, beginning with the self. These are just eloquent how they just run on from each other, right? Do what is right. Oh, karma, right? Do what is right. That's why we've all been working so hard, because I know I was a naughty little shit in a past life, several past lives actually in Egypt. I've been cleaning house, You know what I mean? Because that's not who I am in this life. I'm like, I came back for a different reason. You know what I mean? So karma. But this lifetime, we ain't creating. We're basically clearing it, right? Because we can in this lifetime be clear of karma. So those that want to come back can come back if they want. Those that don't want to come back, fine. Do you know what I mean? So propriety, do what is right. So your negative belief could be, don't want to put words in your mouth or anything like that. So if you are talking not very nice to yourself, or you might be talking about others, judge before you get judged. That always comes from a lack of self-worth. Look, they're not doing it right. They're not of the light, or whatever it might be. You judge out there because you kind of like come from a place of lack. Do you know what I mean? It's like judge before you're judged, And like I've written here, kill or be killed, right? What story are you telling yourself? Now, this is a real lovely one to actually culminate these principles with, because I ask myself every day in my journal, what is the story I'm telling myself of that person's situation? Because everything is divine. We are abundant. We are safe. We are true. We are gifted. Nobody's less than. We are same. We come from the same consciousness. The same consciousness that flows out of your eyes is exactly the same as Yeshua. You know what I mean? We are not separate of that, right? We are not separate of that. So if you are going into a situation that doesn't make you feel good, or a meeting with someone or whatever, what's the story that you're telling yourself about that situation? That you're not safe? they're going to take you out, or I'm just going to lose. This is just going to be a lose, it's going to be a disaster. You know what I mean? It's like this relationship isn't going to last long. Whatever. It all boils down to self-worth, doesn't it? So what story are you telling yourself? So that would be kill or be killed. So, you know, that I think that one for me, do no harm to others. Of course, we know that. And I don't think any of us here do that. Do you know what I mean? I think the big one here is the negative self-chatter. You're doing worse to yourself. Why does anybody else need to take you out? Because you do it every single moment, every day. Stop it. Like, stop it. You know? So if we can change this chatter and kind of just change the narrative by going back to these principles every day, use it as your checklist, because this is ma'at, right? So now you should have 7 principles with 7 examples of shadow right next to them. Listen, you can use this as a beautiful way to actually go deeper with this if you want. Let it take you where you need to be taken. And you can journal on this and go through the portals and everything like that and work extensively with this. Or you can flip mode it and just say, right, okay, that negative belief, I actually don't care about the story. It's just energy and frequency, and it makes me feel a certain type of way. But when I think about that I am sacred and I'm truth, lock onto that as the highest timeline. It may be that you just do that and all the rest falls away. Either way, this is a powerful ascension ladder from Ma'at to help us basically find out what's what, right? So here we have now a beautiful personalized portal that you have opened up through Ma'at with what you've got going on, right? Wonderful and amazing. So now we bring in the alchemy of Sekhmet and Hathor, right? And again, this is like kind of spiritual theory teaching. You can go beyond this space and work with it like so, right? I want you, with that list that you've written, either today or tomorrow, if you want to add to it, fluff it out, whatever, if you're happy to let it go, I want you to do a burn ceremony today. And I want you to take that paper. And once we've completed this, I want you to go to Ma'at, Sekhmet and Hathor. And I want you to ask for them to now take this from you. It's done. Cut cords with it. You know what I mean? So that will propel you. That's almost like a commitment, a really showing up to the altar and saying, right, we're doing this, right? And they appreciate that very, very much, right? So now in comes Sekhmet, because remember, Sekhmet is the fire that brings everything. So when we go through this meditation, I'm going to kind of take you through what I want you to do in the burn ceremony. We're about to do in a journey. Okay. And we're going to let it go, because I'm telling you now, I see all you beautiful beings, and I have just taken us through a journey or two, and I can feel your light when it joins mine, because my heart is your heart, right? And there is nothing to fear. And it is now high time we come together. And I'm actually getting pissed off with doing this behind a computer. The chances are I'm going to turn up on your doorstep tomorrow. It's highly likely. You know what I mean? It's like time to come home. Beyond 2024, this is done. But it can only be done if you proclaim it. It can only be done if you say so, right? So you have to get a big bloody stick and draw a line in the sand here and just say, this is it now, because I'm here for the full expression of me, right? And we don't do this alone, we do it together, because this is why we're being called back. Prior to this, we've all kind of worked on our own and done our own thing. That's not how it's done now. It's not. I'm the biggest recluse ever. You know what I mean? I go out and buy food and I walk my dogs. You know what I mean? That's exciting for me. Not really, but it's like, that's how I've become. But it's like, you know, that's going to change, because as we gather, more will come. Batman sign in the sky that I always speak about, it has to be done, and you have to want it to be done. Okay. So now we're going to bring in Hathor and Sekhmet, and I'm going to like take you through a journey where we're going to bring the healing waters of Hathor, the fire of Sekhmet, and then you're going to go through your final initiation, all right, with Ma'at. And you've got now all of your energy. I don't know how do you know what? This, however you want to take this, all of this energy that you're going to put away now into the fires or whatever, it could be in a crystal, it could be on paper, it could be in a papyri, it could be any way you want it. So allow your imagination to go wild. It could actually be an Akashic book where you just say, I'm done with this. So that's what we've just done is how it's looking. So I've been rapping for ages. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions or anything that they want to share? And if you don't, that's fine. because I can rap and I won't stop. I can go for days. Do you know what I mean? I can do this, kids, like all day long. Do you know what I mean? But if anybody does want to say anything, and we can also share at the end or whatever, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a silent disco. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's fine. So I'm probably going to draw some oracle cards at the end, but I would say that the principles of Ma'at, okay, I would suggest that you work by these every single day. Every day, give an offering to Ma'at. And that can be as simple as burning some incense. Intention is everything. A lot of us have altars. Some of us don't. If you don't, get an altar. Need an altar. Got to hold it down at this stage of the game, because I believe all of us that have altars are actually linking up. That's what I think. You know what I mean? I've now got 2 altars in my house. Everywhere that is a space, I'm building altars, and I have Sekhmet's one here, and I have my Avalon one upstairs, and it's just like, and it's helping a lot. Now I'll be sharing a lot more on how to do kind of like sacred affirmation prayers and working with candle stuff and everything like that to really enhance what we're doing here, right? But before we go into this meditation, I just want to prepare our beings and say, right, this is your sacred yes, if you choose it. Ma'at has come in to help us embody what we have been working on all of this life to try and live by this magic. For too long, it stayed in the stars and we've battled to bring it in, right? So if you struggle and you've got a blocked solar plexus, or if you struggle and there's heart there, Sekhmet and Hathor, but Ma'at will take care of it. Trust in the goddesses, trust in spirit, but most of all, trust in yourself, right? We got this. So get yourself comfortable, and we're going to get ready to go and journey again. Whew, some power in here today. Okay. So we're going to take you through some breathing again. I'm just actually, while you guys are getting settled. Yeah. I'm going to start by, I'm going to start by actually speaking an invocation for Sekhmet and Hathor, who are going to be the first ones to come in anyway. So I want you to really breathe into your hearts now. And all of that little bit of mental work that we were doing there, because it was very sort of divine masculine, a little bit. I want you to take a nice big deep breath in. And that beautiful big sphere you worked with before, exhale, let it go. And breathing in once again, inhale, letting all of the energy in the mind, let it go. And then just allowing the goddesses, feeling Ma'at still around you, feeling Sekhmet as she strolls around you and prowls around you, wrapping her tail around your ankle, feeling the brush of her whiskers on your skin. Hathor, she just gently soothes your heart, strokes your face, places that lotus flower in your heart, feeling the energy of this beautiful twin flame trine coming into your being a lot closer now. And as we breathe into this, we feel our hearts opening. And once again, we are preparing ourselves to journey. We're journeying to go and meet the goddesses. So allowing your body to rise and fall with each breath. Breathing in and breathing out. I want you to really feel your connection to Egypt. I want you to really cut through the layers of lies that you don't remember, because you do. I want you to allow those bricks, those wobbly bricks that you've built around you, so you can masquerade as something that you're not, which is less than. Let them all fall away. Feel your own wings start to move around a little bit and start to make their way to come out of this chrysalis. Start to feel the fire in your being and the energy of the solar plexus and Hathor. Because they are you. They are aspects of you and you are aspects of them. Same as Ma'at. There is a powerful, judicial, sacred structure within you that was placed there by Thoth and Ma'at. Remember this grid. Remember who you are. And as you allow your energy fields to relax and expand, which I felt from all of us then, because you remember, start to allow yourself to now journey into the heart. And as you inhale and exhale, you let go of everything that is just not serving you anymore. And once again, you feel yourself journeying off to another timeline. Allow yourself to be taken. This time, you feel yourself shooting down this tunnel, and you're being taken to a very different place now. Your other journey was taking you to a past timeline of ancient Egypt, a timeline you know very well, very well. But this time, the energy is different. The energy is more refined. And you now are being taken to the cosmos, taken to the stars. You feel a shift in your consciousness different to the previous journey. And you allow yourself to just come home. You feel yourself shooting up through that tunnel like the speed of light until suddenly you are landing in this other dimension and there's just so much light around you. You look down at your feet, you're barefoot. You wiggle your toes and you feel the connection to this very sublime earth. Grass beneath your feet, actually, like you've never known it to be. So green, so lush. You look at the plants around you and the flowers. And even though they are roses and daisies, they have a shimmer to them, as if very ethereal. You breathe in the air, it is so sweet. Your heart center feels very different here. The hair on your head, it tingles. And you look down at your being, and you have these beautiful silken robes on now. They are very, very light, iridescent blue. And around your neck, you place your hands around your neck, and you can feel this massive royal blue andara that sits around your neck, just over your high heart. And your hair is long, white, long hair. And your skin is pallor. And as you look around this place, it truly is magical. There are ethereal mountains in the distance. There are indeed mountains and rivers and lakes. And they twinkle and they sparkle. And you know that you are in the land of the starseeds. You look above you and there are just bird life, blue skies. And the sun, it bellows its rays down upon you, but it is so healing, it's not harsh. In fact, your energy field, it sings and it dances. And there is an overwhelming sense of home. You look in the distance and there are people all around, communities everywhere. This makes your heart so happy because deep down, you know that this is what you're going to create in Gaia. This is an as above, so below scenario. This is a timeline that very much exists for you. And here, this place, it represents abundance, lushness, everything, so much love, so much high frequency. It's also within you. You walk, for once again, there is a reason you are there. And as you walk along this lush grass, which is like velvet, you follow the pathway and it leads you to the distance, to this most magical temple. It is a star temple and it is made of pure clear quartz.
Again, like the other temple, it is massive and it's at the top of the hill. So it's almost like it holds the space for the whole of this place. For there are other temples around. You are in awe at the magic and the structure, the sacred architecture that is around you. But this place where you're going, this is the biggest temple. This is the boss temple. And you are striding up the hill because you know that you have a very important meeting there. And eventually you get up to the hill, even your body and your lungs and your breath feels different. And you arrive at this huge temple. There is no one there to meet you this time, only a huge force field that represents the doors. Your hand chakras start to activate now. Quite a strange but funny thing, but you're like, this is cool. So your hands start to activate so much energy and frequency, and you place them up against the door, and it recognizes your frequency, your blueprint, your unique soul essence. And these doors just open, and you walk through, and you are greeted in this majestic hall. The ceilings are so high, and there is light language that dances all around you. When you take your fingers through the sky, there's almost like traces, it's as if you're on psilocybin. It's like this is magical and amazing. And you can see through this glass temple in the distance white dragons. And you're like, can this get any more magical? But it also feels very real to you. This is very true because this is the essence, the true essence of who you are. So much love in your heart. You feel your Andera crystal, your royal Buru Andera crystal start to glow and ignite. And that really activates your high heart. But it's glowing and igniting because it's sensed that you are close to a very powerful chamber. And it is now drawing you closer to that place. So you take a big deep breath because the energy is high here. And you walk now to a doorway, one single doorway. Suddenly you feel yourself burst into light language. You start to speak of a language that you've never witnessed before, but this is your native tongue. And you talk light language, and all of a sudden the doors open. And you step in, and there is a sense within you that you have a right to be there. You don't feel apologetic. You step in and you feel the energy and the power and the prowess in this place. And once again, on before you, there is Ma'at, there is Sekhmet, and there is Hathor. And you are absolutely overcome with emotion because this time, this is like a great reunion. But you walk forward very, very, very respectfully. And as you walk in, you bow your head. And this is a little bit of a different scene because to your left, Sekhmet has embers burning in front of her. To your right, you have Hathor, had this beautiful, beautiful sacred pool, crystalline pool. And Ma'at now stands up from her throne, her wings outstretched, her golden feather very golden, and it shimmers and it shakes. She steps back. Sekhmet steps forward. Now the energy in the room changes. From a shimmery display to all of a sudden a little bit intense. Suddenly the light dims. Suddenly you feel a pit in your stomach. Your solar plexus comes online. Oh, energy of Sekhmet comes in. And she stands before you, looking deep into your eyes. And you stand to attention because you are indeed one of her foot soldiers. You stand there with your offerings now, which is the shadow and the shade and the negativity of the 7 principles of Ma'at. And you call to Sekhmet and you demand and command your space this time. And you say, Sekhmet, mother of mine, I come to feed thee. I have the shadow, the baggage, the weight, that which is I know is not my truth. Beloved mother, I bring this as an offering to you now, to feed you into the belly of your flame so you can transmute this for me. She looks at you and she roars, and there's a huge reverberation around the room. Your rib cage is rattling and you do everything to just not show fear. And then you speak again. My beloved mother Sekhmet, essence of the flame, queen of all the lions, destroyer, of suffering and pain. I call upon your strength as I dispel the fear I hold. Your fire lights my embers. I stand before you brave and bold. No longer am I imprisoned by the shadow and the dark. I stand beside you, Mother, as we sail in Ra's Sambark. I lay claim to my throne. I destroy all presence of fear, proclaiming my sovereignty. My path to power is clear. My beloved Mother Sekhmet, true goddess of the sun. I forge forward fearlessly. I close this cycle, and it is done. And with that, you let out an almighty roar. She steps back, and she looks at you with her side eye. And suddenly all these flames come bursting between you. And then she speaks. Child of mine, it is time for you to place what it is that you are releasing now, that blocks you, separates you from being an upholder of Ma'at. Bring it to me now. And with that, you throw all of that shadow into the fire, into the flames. Sekhmet's belly ignites, for she takes it into her belly as well. And there is just so much light, so much fire. And you can actually feel this burning through your physical body. You're having an energetic experience, and it burns all the way through your light bodies, clearing any remnant of anything for that invocation that you just spoke. Power, because you are power. And then as much as those flames come, suddenly they dissipate, and you look at the floor, and it is just ash. All of the drama, all of the baggage is now reduced to just a few specks of ash. You feel your lion heart come online, and you'll feel an activation in your high heart now. Sekhmet now steps back. And you feel a bit weary because that was quite intense. The energy of this place lightens a little now. And you find yourself gravitating towards Hathor. And Hathor's loving energy, blue energy, brings you in now. And you find yourself standing before Hathor, but between you is this beautiful crystalline pool. And in this pool, it is like something you would find in those beautiful rocks where you go deep into the caves. You can see all the way down into the bottom, but there is no end. It's infinite. And she says, yes, dear heart, I know what you're thinking, sweet one. This is indeed my womb. These are the sacred waters of healing, my healing. And as you look at the water, there's these beautiful blue lotus lilies floating everywhere. And the vibration of this water is actually activating in your own being, because remember, you're mostly water. There is a softness to Hathor. And there's this beautiful iridescent energy that swirls around this place now, far cry from Sekhmet. And you feel her love just wash over you. And then you speak your prayer to Hathor, looking deeply into her eyes, engaging with her heart. O beauteous one, Hathor, goddess of joy and love, mother of the moon and stars, Pleiadian mothers above. Please hold me in the stars, plant me deeply in the earth. I surrender to your loving arms. Death now carries me to rebirth. As I rest within your womb, deep healing takes its hold. Showered in your blessings, my transformation now unfolds. Distant memory now awakens. Sacred ceremony celebrates life. I shake the sistrum of Hathor as I dance into the night. Purify me in your waters. Imbue me with your light. Reborn and resurrected, the phoenix now takes flight, and with it you dive into the waters. Straight away you feel this instant activation of like starlight water that as you dive in, it's like it just takes off the top layer, the inner layer, all of the things. And it reveals this beautiful starseed self in physical form, free of all the baggage. And you just dive deeper and deeper and deeper, and you feel your inner waters of your being react with these sacred waters of Hathor. You feel your sacral chakra just alight this pool. Beautiful golden energy everywhere. mixing beautifully with the blue lotus. Your heart comes online and you just feel so joyous and happy, for this is the energy of Hathor. We have been devoid of joy for so long. Your joy comes online, the celebration of life. Oh, it's been so long. And you just look up for the water. You can breathe underwater. And you just, eyes are gazing up at Hathor's, and Hathor's looking down at you. And you feel so happy to be in this womb state, willing to be held, no longer fighting for control, no longer feeling unsafe, no longer feeling that you've been forgotten. And she hears you and she says, you were never forgotten. You are fierce and you are beautiful. And that is the Sekhmet and Hathor within you. And with that, you suddenly burst out of that water like a dolphin, gasping for breath as if like a baby, a newborn babe. You take your breath to the first time. She pulls you out and you stand on the side of the water, just reborn. Take a moment to feel how that feels. The balance of the fire and the water. And now, Sekhmet and Hathor, they step aside. And here you are, literally being offered up to Sekhmet, as to Ma'at now. The way is clear. She stands before you. She says nothing, but she looks deeply into your eyes knowingly. And you can feel that she is approving. She is granting you permission that you are an upholder of Ma'at. You know this. She knew this. But you needed to know this. Ma'at, she speaks. You are an upholder of my 7 principles and so much more. You have come fearlessly, courageously, respectfully. Your heart does weigh next to my feather. Balance is gifted. Your heart is light. Your heart is joyous. And you are here to lead others to their own hearts. And she walks toward you now, and she places a golden feather in your hand. And as you do so, with everything else that you are gifted, you place it upon your being, and you place this feather in your hair. Your golden feather ignites. This is almost the initiation. She gave you the golden feather of truth. You feel this feather activate. In fact, you feel a tingle on your crown center now, and you feel this connection with the cosmos. It's like she's just given you the golden key, that now you have access to the cosmos because you are an upholder of Ma'at. So allow the cosmos to pour down into that feather now, activating it, connecting it to you, almost pairing your frequencies. She stands back now. For now, even your own Ma'at wings, they activate it and they spread out. And you are the beautiful depiction, yet mirror of Ma'at. And then she stands aside and she waves her arm as if you've not been gifted enough. She says, through that door, through that portal, she waves her arm again, activates it, golden energy, spirals, vortexes. That is the gate. That is the way. And you look at her deeply in the eyes and she said, do you accept? And you may speak this out loud or in your heart. And with that, you step through that gate and there is an absolute alchemy that happens now. Everything that you were gets left behind. You step through this gate, this energy, this frequency, and you feel every single chakra in your body upgrade, ignite. All the cells in your body full of light. There's almost like a chemistry going on because you're rebuilding, changing, collaborating, configuring, reconfiguring. And your feather is going mad and it's just doing all the things. Let it happen. This is the chaos before the manifestation. And then suddenly there is a burst of light. And then you are found standing in this timeline. Where are you standing? Where did you land into? You have just jumped a portal. You have timeline jumped. And you have now been sent to this timeline in your physical form, but upgraded, initiated. You are indeed the upholder of Ma'at. So to finalize this initiation, I want you to breathe in the highest timeline of truth. Breathe in the highest timeline of justice. Breathe in the highest timeline of harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, propriety. And you vow in this moment that you embody Ma'at fully. So allow that energy just to find its way within you. Where did you travel to? That will have significant meaning. For on this moment, in this gathering that you said yes to, this is no small undertaking. You came here. This is not just another meditation group. This is the initiation. So stay true to your promise. For this is now your timeline of responsibility. Your ability to respond. Take a nice big deep breath into your being. Coming into this place where you sit, the chair, the body. That's very powerful, the timeline we just worked through. So we are going to ask for the help of Sekhmet, Hathor, and Ma'at to bring you fully into your beings. And we will ask them to protect your energy field, keeping all of that magic and energy while you integrate it. May they visit you in your sleep and help you embody this new you. It's not new, actually, it's ancient, but love and blessings to Sekhmet. Love and blessings to Hathor, and our deepest, deepest blessings for Ma'at. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Feel like running around the garden and doing a bit of a victory lap there. Hey. So that is the initiation. Life is going to change now. And if it doesn't and it gets worse, because sometimes we kind of like say, yeah, we're going to do this, and then we don't. And I'm telling you now, you're in it now. So if you do tend to get a little bit of a poor clap, as we say in South Africa, it's because Sekhmet's going, you know what I mean? So now, like, how do we close all of this majesty? Thank you, John. How do we close all this majesty together is basically belief. Belief. No more sitting on the sidelines, no more sitting in the crowd waiting for the main act to come on. Because the thing is, you can sit there and eat your popcorn all you like, but it ain't going to start until you're up on stage, because you're the one. You're the one. And I think this is what happens with all of us. We have signed up to come together to be the upholders of Ma'at. And I think what happens is because we don't believe in ourselves. Thank you, Lee. I love you deeply. Because we don't believe, like, you know, we go and slide back into old habits. This cannot happen. If you find this happening, go sit with Sekhmet. She needs feeding all day, every day. Wrap yourself around her ankles like a kitten. Give the energy to her every moment if you have to. Because it's now time to bring Sekhmet's children home. And the reason she asked me to bring Sekhmet's children home, to bring her children home, was to be the upholders Ma'at. So that's what we're here to do. We are the grid. We are the template. And, you know, just on that, Like next year is a crazy, busy, hectic year because it's time to get busy. And that is what the Tablets of Light tour is all about. It's about initiation. That is why that tour is designed the way it is. Sekhmet and Toth told me to put it together 4 years ago. And they said, put your Batman sign in the sky, the people will come. And it's an initiation walk. And then in November, haven't even advertised this, Sekhmet is having a devotional tour through me in November. November is the most powerful time for Sekhmet offerings. She's got a lot of dates, a lot of special dates in that time. That's an 8-day walk. So that is going to be devotion to the goddess. So if you want to deep dive into your role on this earth, and Egypt is like it's in you, it is so important to go there. And those that know me know that this is not a bums on seats thing. I am fully committed to Sekhmet. I am devoted to her like it's my life. She is my life. And I came here to basically help her uphold Ma'at. And I know there's many more like me. The more people we gather, the more souls we can help. And then we can just tip the scales in a good way to basically live in the highest timeline. That's what we came here for. And that's why we're the age that we're at, because we're in the prime of our years. We're not old grannies or old granddads where we're like, well, a little bit old for this. Do you know what I mean? It's like we came in at this timeline because we've got the strength, tenacity, and power to do this now. So if Egypt is on your radar, this is a starseed calling. It's a mission. And each year I go to Egypt, it changes every year. So like 1 year I had like 7 people come with me and they were all women. And I was like, well, this is the smallest group. Sekhmet was like, trust, trust, trust. Do you know, we went on that tour and it was all about sexual abuse in women. And I didn't know. And even my own daughter was on that tour. And it was one of the hardest tours. I can't speak about what happened there, but it was one of the hardest tours that I had to hold. And I did not know that each year I go to Egypt, that's what it was going to look like. And when we cleared the sexual trauma, the following year, we had 10, 11 of us go and we did twin flame because all the husbands and wives came and the men and the women. So each year this portal is open. I have no fucking idea what I'm going to be doing because it all depends on what star seeds are basically signed up there. And I sit there waiting to get the memo. It's the most tentative time for a year waiting for the tour to kick in because I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? But like that's, I suppose, what being in service is all about. So it's not a case of like push. If you want to go to Egypt, if you're like, well, I'm not sure, maybe 2027 is for you. I don't know. But there is a sweet spot in everything. And you have to honor that. And every single person that's walked with me in Egypt has gone, oh my God, I can't believe how this was the right time for me. Or if they said, can't come this year, I'm really sad. We've laughed about it because the following year we've gone, well, look at that. You were supposed to come then. Do you know what I mean? So it's really listening to your own inner voice and calling. And it's not just about Egypt. It's about anywhere you get called to. Do you know what I mean? Peru, whatever your calling is, whatever your walk is, right? And I was even talking to Practi. We were talking, weren't we? And we were saying, we were saying that like there's going to be a time where there's not going to be tours. Because talking about that gift economy and everything like that, the more people we get together and the more people we do this work with, soon enough, we're just going to be gathering in Egypt. You're going to bring the drums. I'm going to bring the fire. Somebody can put a pig on a spit. Sorry, vegetarians. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, we're just going to hang out in the temple, right? Exactly. Exactly. That's how I see it. Because I'm just like, well, once we know, why do we need to know again? You can't unknow. If you have the download and you've got the memo, why do you want to go to Egypt to be taught something? We're going to remember what you know, right? Remember what you know. It's a bit of a contradictory in a term. Remember what you know. So if any of you feel the tingle for Egypt for whatever reason, we need to talk. We need to talk, you know, because also as well, a lot of people that I've taken to Egypt, they've ended up taking their own groups and I support them with that as well. And it's like, it's important that if that's the calling you've got, I will support you in getting your groups together. Or wherever, actually. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of us have been just doing our little groups. There's more. There's more. And guess what? You're probably capable of doing that and taking others to these very, very powerful portals because you're portal openers, you're portal activators. It's enough sunshine to go around. Do you know what I mean? But it's all hands on deck. So I just want to thank like all of you for like turning up. I mean, this is just absolutely like
Well done, you guys, because that was probably one of the most powerful groups that I've held on Zoom. And let me tell you, when little old me is sat over here and I'm holding all your energy, I'm like, ah, Jesus, we're quite flexy, actually. Do you know what I mean? So before we sign off, does anybody have anything that they want to share? I mean, anything at all that they want to put into the circle before we close? If not, it's always good. Like, you know what I mean? Silence is key. Thank you, Jill. So yeah, I mean, like this recording, I'm going to post it somewhere once I've figured it out. Do you know what I mean? So you can actually come back to it. But also as well, anybody can reach out to me anytime on YouTube or whatever. You're so welcome, Debbie. So welcome. And there's it. Yeah, you're all here. I didn't realize there were so many people I knew here. Now you're all showing your faces. But anybody got any questions about anything, you can reach out to me on YouTube or email and we can have a chat on WhatsApp or whatever. But yeah, thank you so much for turning up. Thank you for seeing my Batman sign in the sky. Blessings to you all. Gabby, there you are. Love to you all. Mwah. And thank you for the guys for turning up. I'm sorry I didn't actually, Marius, and I know that there's like others here, Josh, so thank you all so much for turning up. So we will see you. Temple time is next month for Ascension Ladders. So watch out for that. And of course, on there, I'm going to do a live stream on the 1010 portal. Okay. I don't know who's going to come through for that, but that'll be a live stream but that'll be ceremony. Bring your cacao, bring your magic. You know what I mean? It's just hang out, man. Ma, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, peace out, y'all. Till the next time. Hey, I'm going to go and get my up wings through the door and like walk past my husband and give him a whack with it, Love you. Mwah. Love you. See you later, guys. Bye. Bye.
Bye.